But we've also, while we're speaking of US presidents, you've got one.
Well, yeah, I've got another person here. And I was going to nominate Prince Andrew, but then I realized it's Wally of the Week, not Willie of the Week. But anyway.
And he's no longer a prince.
And he's no longer a prince, that's right. But no, Michelle Obama, have a look at this unbelievable self-pitying interview that she gave.
You said we were all too aware that as a first black couple, we couldn't afford any missteps.
Yeah.
And you also say, as a black woman, I was under a particularly white hot glare. Did you feel that?
For sure. You can't afford to get anything wrong because you didn't get at least until the country came to know us, we didn't get the grace that I think some other families have gotten.
You know, this reminds me of what I loved about the Obama administration. It was all the racial healing. Look, if there was anybody who was given more passes, more grace, more excuses made for absolutely everything, show me who. I mean, you want to talk about first ladies under a white-hot glare of criticism? Look at the very glamorous Melania Trump, who gets nothing but criticism from the press. She was given an absolute dream run. And for her to pretend that there was, you know, racism or whatever behind how she was treated as the first lady and how she and Barack were treated as the first couple, that is just, again, it's the same divisive nonsense that they peddled for all 8 years of that horrific presidency.
We talked about gaslighting before. That is weapon-grade gaslighting. That couple got nothing but a collective tongue bath from the media for 8 years. It was nothing but endless adulation. If there was a word of criticism for, say, a Fox News or some conservative pundit, all the leftist media would rally around them and present it as grossly unfair. The man got a Nobel Peace Prize for being elected. I mean, really. And she got every single magazine cover. You talked about Melania, who is obviously, objectively a beautiful woman. She can't get on the front cover of Vogue. But how many covers did Michelle have? How many covers of every magazine? How many endless fluff pieces were written about how inspirational she is and a model mother and a model woman for all American women to aspire to? Really. And all she does, she is a miserable figure. All she does on her own podcast and on other interviews just plays the victim and bags Barack. Obviously, that is not a happy marriage because you never hear her these days say anything positive. It's all just about how she hates how he chooses food, how he's annoying, how she's, you know, you can have 10 years of misery in a marriage and still stay together. What does that tell you? And yet that people speak about her as a possible candidate for president for the Democrats.
Well, she's got her own podcast now, which means she has to sit in front of that big mic whenever she's talking. But I was going to talk now about her husband, Barack Obama. Now, let's have a listen to Barack Obama talking about Donald Trump. He's going for Wally of the Week right now.
Deploying the National Guard in American cities, claiming to stop crime waves that don't actually exist. We've got masked ICE agents pulling up in unmarked vans and grabbing people, including U.S. citizens, off the streets on the suspicion that they don't look like real Americans. It's worse than even I expected, but I did warn y'all.
So, James, there we go. I mean, slagging off Trump. I mean, seriously, the damage that Barack Obama did to, you know, was he the puppet master of the Biden administration?
I'll just say one quick thing about that. You know, Barack Obama was a guy who, when he was president, was known as the deporter-in-chief, and he was criticized by the New York Times for the number of illegals he kicked out of the country. So, come on, for him to be complaining about ICE, bit rich.
There we go. We've got to choose
it's a no-brainer. It's got to be joint Obamas, the first couple to win Wally of the Week.
Agreed. Wallies of the Week.